Hello everybody, this is the Doctor, and today Typical Manga Fan and I will be discussing chapter 617 of Bleach, Return of the God. And actually, it occurs to me, who are they talking about here? Because there's
Yeah,
about two or three different people in this one.
I was about to mention that, Return of the God. Are they talking about Aizen? Are they talking about the Mimi Hagi son for helping out the Soul King, Because I think those are two guys, right? The two main.
Yeah, it's like
I,
Aizen, Mimi Hagi, or Soul King himself.
yeah. I mean, obviously, the Mimi Hagi and Soul King are arguably one and the same. So.
Or at least they are now.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird, but so we see Aizen where he was, basically what he looks like now, and it's like you see these three pillars behind him, kind of just holding him down, and all this bondage shit is wrapped around him in his face too, and especially his mouth, because I honestly think that's the one thing we have to make sure is bound.
oh, like crazy though, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah. But seriously, though, what's with this bondage shit?
Yeah.
Awaiting in the darkness.
Anyway, we go a couple pages. We got some fan art to go through here. Since we use Manga Stream for the recaps.
Yes.
It's like a Bleach game ad in there, but anyway. Chapter opens with the Kamikake being set in motion with Ukitake. Itake Kamikake. Everyone's like, we're pretty much seeing black stuff, soul and or blood just spouting out from his face.
Yeah, is that blood? What the hell is that? It's Mimi Hagi. It's the Mimi Hagi. Arm thing, but we don't know if it's actually blood. I mean, because he said he turned all of his organs into Mimi Hagi itself. Right. So it's weird. I want to see this animated.
Yeah.
Someday, maybe in 10 years or so.
Yeah, one day. Anyway, so we got that. And Urahara notes that the quaking has stopped. Of course, let's see here.
Well, the hand, you can see the hand is just going up into the sky too.
Yep.
So let's see. And then Yhwach sees what's happening, and for apparently he's shocked. Like, he doesn't understand what's going on. Everyone's shocked too, but is everyone shocked that something's different, or is everyone shocked that he's shocked? Because he seems to know freaking everything. So when he's shocked, something's up.
Right, and this will probably be important because it shows that even the Almighty has his limits.
Finally, but that also means that if it has his limits, that means he's not God, or he's not omniscient, because God is by definition has no limit, right? So that kind of shows that he is actually still, no matter how powerful he is, a mortal. So you see the hand just grabbing onto the remaining floating part of the Soul King, and it's just covering his face.
Yep.
And the eye, you can see the eye on the hand. Kind of interesting, because Yhwach says, "Is that how it is? To think that this could escape my eyes?" So apparently, the Soul King, or at least the hand of the Soul King, is immune to Yhwach's almighty power. Although I think that's because the Soul King is in a way is on an equal level, because the Soul King also can predict the future, and the Soul King is if he's his father, then he's kind of in that same league. You know what I'm saying? That level. That's what I'm thinking. And interestingly enough, there's an eye on the hand. I wonder if the eye means anything. What do you think?
No. It could be. I mean, I say it's odd that it's an eye on a hand, but anyway, it's pretty much like, I don't know, it was trying to just hold them together or kind of almost reassemble them.
Yeah.
And like I said, he wonders if even Yhwach also wonders if it's the Soul King himself with the hand.
So wait. The Soul King is inside the hand rather than his actual body.
Well, that or they're part of one and the same thing, which is what Yhwach wonders.
Perhaps if you think about it, the Soul King was essentially a vegetable, right?
Pretty much. I mean,
so maybe his consciousness is somewhere else. Maybe it's inside his limbs. Like he separated his consciousness somehow, or maybe even just completely transferred into his limbs. Or
it's possible. I mean,
yeah,
it's possible as anything anyway.
Well, I mean, I gotta ask, why is the Soul King not why is he not responding? Is where is he? Where is the Soul King? Not in terms of body, but in mind and soul. Do you think this is where the Soul King? Do you think the Soul King is maybe split himself into the limbs so that way he can monitor Soul Society?
Possibly. I mean, he became the little Well, don't mean to say he became the god by choice, but maybe like he was around there, people spotted him, and kind of was made the superstition around it.
Yeah, and in the next chapter, it said he asks him. Geobok basically screams at the hand, saying, "Why is the right arm of the Soul King himself meddling in this affair? Is this out of your attachment for the Soul Society you have protected?" This is a really weird way of phrasing it, because why wouldn't the right arm of the Soul King meddle? Because it's the Soul King, like the right arm of the Soul King, right?
Yep.
Wouldn't you protect your main body? And also, he says, "Is this out of your attachment for the Soul Society you have protected?" Of course, wouldn't it have attachment if it's the Soul Society that's protecting? I just is this like I don't know. Wouldn't it, I thought this type of move would be logical considering that its purpose is to protect Soul Society. I
Yeah,
just
that could possibly be one thing that Ewok wasn't able to spot. Maybe like that was my thought when you were asking that question, because Ukitake is pretty much just making the ultimate sacrifice here out of like love and loyalty. He doesn't. I don't think Ewok would get something like.
yeah. At the same time though, but did he even know where the limbs are? Like, did he know where the right hand was?
Well, he knew of the right hand. I don't like. Doesn't like he knew where it was.
Probably because it was like immune to his almighty power. So, but you know, one has to wonder if he already saw the future. Then the future he saw was the one without Mimihagi interfering, right?
Right.
So does this automatically change like everything? Now that
Potentially.
Mimihagi has come into play, wouldn't any future that can possibly come out be unforeseen by cannot possibly be seen by Yuhabok because anything that has to do with Mimihagi is automatically immune to Yuhabok's powers, right?
Like yeah, directly connected to it. Most likely there. I mean, unless there's something specific about Mimihagi itself that makes the difference.
I mean, like, because he said he couldn't predict Mimihagi like coming out of nowhere, right?
Right.
So let's
Well,
say
we
like
couldn't predict it. I mean, what the hell chances does someone in the story have? Psychic, almighty psychic
Yeah.
or not?
yeah, but so like let me ask you, like, let's say Ichigo because of the hand goes left instead of right. You know, would Yuabok predict that? You know what I'm saying? Like anything that the hand does from this point on is cannot be foreseen by Yuabok, meaning that at this point anything can go. Like it's no longer like Yuabok's powers basically become useless as long as Mimihagi does something to help Ichigo or does something, you know, because by logic of just timeline and the way time works, anything that Mimihagi does that affects Ichigo means that whatever Ichigo does cannot be seen, cannot be predicted by
Yeah,
Yuabok.
like he's pretty much like one big spanner in the works here potentially,
Potentially, yeah. So,
or at least for as long as it lasts. Because like next thing we get here is Urahara explaining that this is pretty much just a temporary measure.
yeah. Oh my god, it's so disturbing the way Ukitake is just like in like a sea of like is that it's a liquid, but I don't know what that
Well,
is.
that's a liquid that's filling up while they get charged up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. But just in that liquid, and just his face being covered by the massive like darkness or blood or whatever that Mimihagi is made out of, it's just so disturbing. It's like one of those Exorcist movies, you know?
Yep. And I need to correct myself. It's Soifun who points out that this is strictly temporary. Urahara points out that he has no idea how long this will last.
Wow, how often do you get to say that? He doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, this is something completely new to him too. How often do you get that?
Well, I mean, this is a guy who's supposed to know everything. And well, then again, remember, Yuabok didn't know. If Yuabok didn't know,
Yeah.
then yeah.
We go back to the darkness, where Kyoraku is speaking to Aizen. Like Aizen's pretty much not saying anything for the moment.
Oh my gosh, this is don't ruin this, Kiraku. Don't ruin this.
Yeah.
He's gonna ruin this, isn't
He has the keys that will undo Aizen's seals, but he has permission to use just 3 of them. And the first one he uses is the mouth.
Damn it! Why is it that one? Release the eyes first, or
Release his hands. Let him do sign language.
you know what's really funny? If you look at the Aizen picture of the on the cover of everything that's bound, what is the one thing that is not actually bound?
His hair.
Of course, like, of all the things, that's the one they let go. Like the hair, the anime hair, the one thing like defines every anime, and it's like the same thing as like their power level. The longer the hair, the more powerful they are. That's the one thing they just didn't bind. What the frick?
Yep. Anyway, back to the Urahara gang. The gate that their semi-formed gate that they've got starting to dematerialize. They're starting to lose it because they don't have enough power. Looks like they don't have enough power for. Like Mimihagi was probably like a big source of power at this point for Ukitake.
Yeah.
My understanding of it.
Yeah, and basically Ukitake had enough like power to like built up that he was able to hold it up, but without him, even though there were like 6 captains there, they couldn't hold it. Which kind of shows you how powerful, at least how much energy Mimihagi and Ukitake had. And then Nanao is getting really stressed out, but then suddenly, Lisa comes in and kind of just holds the orb she's holding, and kind of calms her down, which is kind of a big deal, you know. And Lisa's like, "What do you mean? At this rate, there's no such nonsense." And it's kind of if you guys remember, Lisa and Nanao had a close relationship supposedly because Lisa would read stories to Nanao once a month.
Yeah, I was remembering that. I was just remembering that actually, like when in the flashback, in Vizard flashback, like when Nanao was just a little kid.
Yeah, and they both wear glasses too. So
yeah,
there's that.
Yeah, I'm sure Kyoraku could love that.
But yeah, I mean, there's obviously a close relationship to that. You can see Nanao just calming down when she's like, Yaomaru-san. And then of course Hiyori comes in saying, "Yeah, we changed her into the a Chicago
robes.
show."
I had to say robes.
Yeah. How do you say Shihakusho? There you go. That's what you say. Shihakusho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why,
the robes.
Why do the robes have special names in the first place? They're black robes.
I think it's to represent their Shinigami like powers. Something. Because remember, if you don't have your powers, you don't have the black robes. You have the white robe.
I remember Unohana kind of going over that when they were bringing Ichigo into the fight.
Yeah, but his was different. His was his was actually part of his Bankai.
Well, that's why I remember taking note of it.
Yeah,
like his was different than the rest.
Yeah.
Like it always is.
But I remember that Eureka also talked about it when she lost her powers too. Anyway, so she's like, "Yeah, hurry up and give us our orbs, will you, Kisuke?" And then because now they're basically like trying to bring back the gate, and then suddenly, boom, 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 boom.
Kuroshichi.
Yep.
He appears like he's like, well, it looks like somebody's having a total ball in laboratory that isn't even his.
Yeah. So this is where I'll explain. He comes in saying, "Okay, I get what everyone's trying to do, but what you don't understand is that if an immense quantity of Ryatsu is needed, then why don't you? But just use this Ryatsu amplifier.
Handy dandy amplifier.
Oh my god, this is so much ass pull at this moment.
It's not even ass pull. It's not even that. It's completely pointless. You could have just had Kurochuchi and them come in with everyone else, and that would be enough. But no, you have to introduce the amplifier.
Yeah, this whole thing, this whole problem of this has literally been a problem that was solved in like 2 pages. The fact that the gate was breaking down, and now they have this handy dandy amplifier that there was no mention of before. It was just there. And now it fixes everyone's problems. You know why he did this? You know why Kubo did this?
Stall?
It was to stall for Aizen's return. So he can have it as the last page.
Yep. I mean, and again, pointless. Just have Aizen talk for a little while. That would fill up a whole chapter easily.
Yeah, but the problem is I think Kubo wanted to really hold out on Aizen. He wanted the last page to be Aizen's face. Because the last page last time was Aizen's presence, and because Kyoraku was talking to Aizen, but he didn't respond. So now he wants Aizen's face to be it, because I think he wants to really build it up with the cliffhanger. Because if Aizen were to talk now, then the last page wouldn't be as cliffhanger-ish as it would now, which is, in my opinion, a very bad thing in this case, because he already made the cliffhanger last time. So now it's just kind of annoying at this point. Like, I get it last time. This time it's just like, we get it. Aizen's there, okay?
Yep.
There's no need to hold out much longer.
And on this subject, we're back with Aizen and Kyoraku. Kyoraku's used that one key to release his mouse, and now we can at least talk instead of using Reiatsu. That said, when a person has had their mouth sealed for 2 full years, most people are unable to speak anyway. However, you're an exception to this, are you not? Well, look what we're talking about.
Yeah, and he's like, I suppose I am. Oh, damn it, he's talking now.
I only unsealed his mouth, so how did he undo the rest of his seals? Because he's fucking Aizen, that's why.
Yeah, and he walks out. You actually see him walk out with all the bondage shit, and his mouth is now unsealed. So, I mean, normally he's supposed to still be bound. He can't move, but suddenly he's moved. And it's interesting. Kyoraku implies he undid the rest of his seals, but you still see some of the bondage stuff. So I don't think he did. I don't think he undid all of it. I think he did like the most of it,
and
or the one that allows him to move.
That's why Aizen's probably asking, like, aren't there still 2 more keys to use?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like, First off, this guy hasn't changed one bit, has he?
Well, he's been a bit quieter so
yeah.
far.
Yeah,
Of
well, I
course-
mean that's because there's 2 pages.
Yeah, and of course, then again, next chapter is going to probably be a lot of talking from my betting.
Oh my gosh. This
And then
the
maybe one
arrogance.
page of Ewok, or
Oh yeah, but it was interesting though because I also misspoke before. I said the ones that allowed him to move, the one that didn't allow him to move. So like the bondage stuff, the seal, they prevented him from moving, but suddenly he's able to undo them just because his mouth was was undone. You know, why is it that the seal on his mouth suddenly made him able
Well-
to be stronger?
you do have to remember that the mouth is the most powerful part of Aizen's body.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I mean, with his mouth alone, he can he can kill everyone with sheer boredom of his speeches.
Yeah, I mean,
He can kill entire chapters without even trying.
yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, although one person actually made the point saying, "What if it's an illusion?" You know.
Also, that's true. I mean,
But to be honest with you, like it kind of be a pointless illusion because honestly, like he's strong enough that you could still believe that he could do this even without
well, that could be the point of the illusion. It's just believable enough to make Kyoraku believe it, and it could end up making him do something stupid.
possibly.
Stupider.
Yeah, and we also have to note that even though his Zanpakuto is gone, he still has some of the powers left. Maybe even all of it. Who knows? We don't know. And I would like to note one thing. We didn't. I was going to say this last time, but I didn't. I forgot. Look at Kyoraku's eye.
Okay.
Notice that there's only one eye.
Well, didn't he lose his eye in the...
No, yeah, exactly. But if you remember correctly, the last few chapters, not including the last one, but the ones before, he had both eyes drawn.
Is he holding the patch over his eye for something else then? Or is it just art mistake?
It was like an art mistake for like 6 chapters. That's the thing. Everyone noticed that. Everyone said, "Oh, is it Aizen maybe, or is it like or did he like heal his eye?" Because everyone saw the 2 eyes, and it was like that ever since he talked to Ikitake, and it was like that ever since like Ichigo arrived into the in the Soul Palace. You know, like it's been like that for a long time, and then it just came back last chapter. The eye patch, it just came back last chapter. So people are like they're either like they're kind of annoyed at this because it seems like it was just a mistake. Because it was initially thought that maybe he either 2 things: either Aizen actually replaced Kyoraku, and because he didn't know that Kyoraku had an eye patch, that's why he had 2 eyes, or 2 was that he healed his eye somehow.
Yeah, or the patch has some other function like Kenpachi's does.
Oh come on, we know that's not the case. We know Kyoraku is not Kenpachi.
Well, I don't say he's using it for the same purpose. Like maybe he's using it as a way to ward off the illusion.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of pointless, and I feel like and the fact that it's back now, like it was off for like just talking, like for just like talking. It was off when he was just talking with Ukitake, and now it's back. So it just like it seems like it's a mistake.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments right now, and the one thing kind of points out one thing we had here. I love how everything in Bleach is just so convenient. There needs to be a Soul King or the world will end. Ukitake becomes a temporary replacement for the Soul King. Not enough Ryatsu? Kurosuchi has a Ryatsu amplification machine. What's next? Well, Ichigo's going to be the permanent replacement for the Soul King? Of course, I love to reply next to that. Orihime's boobs will be the next Soul King. Queen. I mean, they're more useful than the rest of her.
That was good.
I'll probably get in trouble for that, but whatever. Totally worth
it. Who cares? Who cares?
Worth it.
She is useless. Who wouldn't? Even her voice actress said she was worthless, or implied that she was worthless.
Seriously?
Yeah, Stephanie Sheh, the voiced English one.
Oh, I thought you meant the Japanese, but okay.
Yeah, the English one. She said, "Stop crying and actually do something." She's referring back to when the Ichigo became a hollow against Ulquiorra. She's like, "Stop crying and actually do something." And I'm just like, "Holy shit! Did she actually just like
bad mouth her own character?"
Yeah, that never happens because of contractual shit too. I mean, beside the whole attachment to your emotional attachment to your character, contractually you can't do that. So I'm just like, holy shit! Did she actually make her voice actress go that far just to say that?
Another thing that's kind of interesting point here is like, apparently, one person notes that Kubo has been making Urahara look dumber than a fucking sack of potatoes lately.
Yeah.
Says here, I lost count of how many times I saw that dumbfounded look on his face in the last 3 or 5 chapters. And this is the guy that outsmarted God Genius Aizen of all people. And he always had the answer, but now he does his jaw's slacking every chapter.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. It's like, oh man, just Kubo, man, just
Yeah.
Kubo.
I mean, like I said, that whole thing of the amplification machine was like so pointless. I mean, it's just pointless as Madara Uchiha.
But the reason is because I think most people agreed that it was because he wanted to wait out the Aizen thing. Because I think he didn't want to end it on like page 15. Because if it wasn't for that issue, he basically have half the chapter only. So he wanted to have that issue to make sure that Aizen would be like the last thing you see. And that's I think that's the obvious reason. At the same time, that's still an fu to us. Because if you're gonna do that, do something interesting. You know.
Yeah. Or at least do something that might be useful later.
This is supposedly the great Kubo. All the Bleach fan thinks he's God, basically. Well, then fine. Then make him do something for like 10 chapters. I'm sure he can do it. I just like the more, even when he does something that you can see why he does it, it's still like kind of like, oh, come on, man, you could do better. Like it's just like, I just don't understand why some people think this guy's so good. Still good because he was good, but now he's just like he's M. Night Shyamalan. Stop thinking he's gonna make a good movie and just accept that he can't make good shit anymore.
He make a decent twist, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, at least he could. Once upon a time.
What's Shyamalan? Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's like, and you're right about that. Like I said, for me, it started declining around Hueco Mundo, when it was basically just a rehash of Rukia and Orihime getting kidnapped.
Yeah, that was way decline for everyone, except for the Bleach fans.
I mean, I kind of lost track around the Soul Society arc in Middle Range there. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I think somewhere along the way there, I just stopped. I lost track of just what was going on, and never really came fully back to it. It worked. A lot of it now is just I follow it just because I always have. So
yeah,
I've gotten more different series now lately. Like there's Toriko, Assassination Classroom, and Hero Academia are all pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Actually, if you out there just listening to read Assassination Classroom, that one just had a big old reveal recently.
Okay.
Big old twist. And it's a twist done right because it's it's like a big deal, but it's also subtle enough that you can actually see the hints in all the past chapters. But they're so subtle that you wouldn't have noticed them like going through the first time. Like it's only in hindsight that you really start to spot them.
Okay.
But it was deliberate. Like you can actually see like almost Oda level planning right there.
But keep in mind that Shyamalan actually was able to pull that off in The Sixth Sense. That's what he was known for. That was when his plot twist was actually good. It was actually it was both unexpected, but at the same time, like if you actually paid attention, you're like, oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, it was just that was when Shyamalan was great, and the Kubo thing. I think I bet you that Aizen. The fact that Aizen was a villain, there might have been hints. There might have been good writing because that was during the Soul Society arc, and that was when everything was good.
Right. But here we have amplification machines, dark right-handed gods, and all that stuff just coming out of nowhere.
And the mouth somehow being able to move the entire body.
Well, again, Aizen.
I know.
I mean, his mouth is everything, and everything is his mouth.
I find it funny that that was actually the last thing they sealed too. Because remember when he was bad mouthing the Persona 46, he was like they actually kept his mouth open, which was kind of a mistake. But thankfully they rectified it by sealing it shut. Finally.
Well, they probably had to save that one for last. Again, most powerful part of him.
But it's kind of funny that he could also talk with his Ryasu though.
Yeah, like not even sealing his mouth will shut him up.
I know. At least he trolled Yubak. Of all the people he had to troll, I'm glad that was him.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad it was Yubak.
Question, if I might. Back during all that time when they say he spoke to Aizen, did we see that? Because I genuinely do not remember.
They showed the picture of him talking to Central 46 as a reference, but they didn't actually show him talking.
Like they didn't show Yubak and Aizen face to face.
No. When Yubak was talking about Aizen, they just showed the same picture that they had for when he was in the Central 46 room.
Okay.
It was like a reference to like his picture. It was just to show that it was Aizen he was talking to and to support that. But I understood why he didn't show Aizen directly.
Okay.
It just made sense. Like it was just keep him into the darkness in the distance, so that way we kind of like feel that he's kind of like cut off, but at the same time still related to the story. That was actually a good move on Kubo's part. I think that was good.
Yep. Alright, so like I said, at this point, we got Aizen on the move.
Yeah.
We got Reiatsu being amplified.
Yeah.
We got Yuok freaking out, which was a nice touch. Like, just for the simple fact that even he was caught off guard by something.
Yeah.
Which that could play into it, and if it does, I could forgive the Mimihagi ass pull, but still.
Ass pull's always gonna be an ass pull.
Yeah, but at least it's a forgivable ass pull. At least if you make use out of it. But anyway, at this point, like that's pretty much the gist of Bleach 617.
I saw the boobs thing, by the way, the comment.
Oh yeah, the one with Orihime. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I say with Bleach chugging along right here, like I said, next week we'll probably see more of Aizen. Well, more of Aizen's speech bubbles.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. What do we see more of, Aizen or his speech bubbles?
Depends on the chapter.
Yeah.
But see here, and then we'll just see what out of nowhere thing we get that week to move things along here for us.
All right.
At this point, I think we're good to go. We'll move on to our next series, which should be One Piece 778. Go ahead and take us away.
Bye.